think the question you need to be asking today through this devotion, you've already seen this in your creed this morning, and that is am I going to build my house on the sand, or am I going to build my house on the rock? James says this in James 1:22, "Be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man who looks intently at his natural face in a mirror. He looks at himself and goes away and at once forgets what he was like. But the one who looks into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and perseveres, being not a forgetful hearer, but an acting doer, he will be blessed in his doing." What he's saying is this, that when you and I study the Word of God, rather than just talking about how wonderful those principles were, we need to begin to ask God by His Spirit to show us how to apply those principles to our lives. We need to do what the Word of God says. We need, when we look at the Ten Commandments, we need to apply those things to our lives. When we look at the fruit of the Spirit, we need to ask God by His Spirit to accomplish those things in our lives. In Matthew chapter 7, Jesus said this, "Everyone who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock." You know, the Word of God is so deep, and there's so many principles in the Word of God, and so much truth in the Word of God, and all of it points us to Christ. And when He begins to ask us to allow these things to play out in our lives, we need to apply them. We need to be building our houses upon the rock and not upon the sand, because He says this, "Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like the foolish man who built his house on the sand, and the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it." Are you building your house on the rock of the Word of God today, or on the sand of the opinions and the ideas of the people in the world around you? Which is it going to be? The rains are going to come, the winds are going to come, the waves are going to come, and the question is, will your house stand or not? It will only stand if you are one who hears the Word of God and does the Word of God. But if you're one who allows the Word to go in one ear and out the other, you can trust me on this one. Your house will fall.